In just 19 days, voters in Anne Arundel County and Baltimore City will make critical decisions about term limits. Anne Arundel County voters will decide on a 3-term limit for elected officials on county council. Baltimore City voters will decide on a 2-term limit for the mayor, comptroller, and city council members. To discuss Baltimore's term limit, Dylan Diggs, he's a former member of the Frederick County Charter Review Commission and the author of a new report from the Maryland Public Policy Institute. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm great, but let's get into question K. Let's talk about how could question K, which pretty much asks people, do you want to see term limits here in our area? How could that change the fabric of politics, particularly in Baltimore?
Yeah, I think one of the really benefits of term limits is that they allow for churn among county officials and city officials, and so. When folks are considering this in Anne Arundel and Baltimore County, and particularly in Baltimore City, what they're doing is not just limiting, say, you can only run for 2 terms and that's it. What they're doing is that, hey, you can run for 2 terms, but you got to take a break after that. You got to take a break for 1 term, and maybe either you run for a different position, or you go back into the community, go back to the business. And what this allows is for opportunities for new voices, younger voices, different voices, voices of different color to come into city offices. And so it's, or not, I mean, it might not, but at least it puts them on the defense, puts the politicians on the defense. And I think that's what we could all use.
Well, critics would say that question K could destabilize the city's government or hamper the ability of elected officials to enact meaningful policy that could take some time. What do you say to that?
I mean, we live in a democracy, and our city is based on democratic institutions. And sure, democracy does lead to checking with the voters every 4 years, and I think that's what we want. And regarding if it's stability or what we want is managed change. And folks in Baltimore City and folks all over the state and all over the country have been experiencing a crisis of trust in government and trust in institutions. I think this is a great way to inject more voice and more competition into the public.
And that's what we'll see on the ballot here November 8th, question K. Thank you so much for speaking with us, Dylan Diggs.
Thank you. Have a good one.
And be sure to check out our voter guide for all other reporting on upcoming general election stuff, the important dates to mark down in your calendar, as well as every other candidate we've also interviewed here. Take your phone and point at your screen for that QR code. It will take you straight there, or you can head to foxbaltimore.com/vote2022.